Me too.
Got it.
Whoa.
Welcome to a bonus episode of Okay Great.
Wait,
It's a little
Kevin's
different.
on the call.
Already started well.
It's a lot of interruptions lately. Okay, we're back.
We're back. Welcome to a bonus episode of Okay Great, where we're going to talk about our fearless co-host's new single, Bloodshot. Just came out. It played at the beginning of this episode, if you couldn't tell. And now we're going to get into it and talk a little bit about the song itself. When I first heard it, I have to tell you, immediately with the kids in the playground, I just thought that was so cool. I remember texting you. It reminded me of Jerry Halliwell, of course. Has a song.
I mean, coming from you, that's a good comparison.
That's a high praise. And she has a song where there's children sort of in the background in the beginning of the song, and it very much pulled that out of me. So I knew I was going to like it from the beginning. But it's probably it's very, very catchy. Like there are points in it where you just like you can't get it out of your head. Like the wait up on you know, that is constantly in my head when I listen to it, or
it's
not
funny
when I listen to it.
At one point, I had like the word, I just had like wait up like stuck in my head. And
well, that fits perfectly.
I need to put this in a song.
Yeah.
And I was like, are people gonna think I'm stealing from Willow? Because I think she has a song called like "Wait" with an exclamation point.
Who at all steals from Willow?
hey, her music's actually really good.
Yeah, I've never listened, so what am I saying?
Yeah, just like you didn't look at the results from the napkin poll.
Yeah.
What else was I gonna say? Oh, and then I realized after I say "Hold Up," and I was like, that's in a Beyonce song. I'm like, I'm just stealing from everyone.
Police the English language when it comes to.
Oh yeah, I know, like, but it's like it's kind of said in a similar way, and I was like, yeah, you know, it could have been in the subconscious. Let me know if anyone clocked me on any of these things.
That is true. That sometimes I do that as well. Oftentimes, I reference Madonna without even knowing I'm referencing her in a lot of my music.
I mean, that's
because
true.
It's just like ingrained in me. It is what it is.
It's the melodies we're drawn to and stuff. But I'm
when did you first write this?
I wrote this last June. I started writing, it was like in the peak of like the BLM movement last year, and I was just, you know, staying up late every night, like just trying to soak in all the information. And you know, like we started doing more like fundraising with Quarantine, and I just was, you know, trying to get way more active instead of just, you know, being like someone who just retweets on the sidelines or whatever. And exactly, you know, especially because I mean, a lot of the people that I follow and like in our circle, you know, they're already pretty progressive and like all of that stuff. Like me sharing something isn't gonna like really help the world.
No, you're just reiterating a message that everyone else is
it's not like it hurts, but I just felt like, okay, I want to do more. But it was just, there's, you know, it's like an onslaught. And I mean, it's not like that was the first time there'd been any of these, you know, like police brutality and things like that and movements. But I think it was really a time, I think also because we were all home and, you know, we really had
really hit
time to see what was going on. And it also kind of felt like one of those things we were like addicted to like you just want to know everything. But then you like, I was staying up literally until like 4 or 5 every morning, just soaking in this information and the tragedy and the trauma. And so at some point I just wrote this song because I was just saying it was a culmination of that, and also like just the isolation of the pandemic, feeling like all these people are slipping away, friendships are disappearing, people are moving away, and just feeling like also like the more we fight to change things, just feeling like nothing really is changing. So
there is no resolve.
Right. It's kind of like feeling like, I think because it was really my first time being more like taking more of an activist stance, like specifically, it was my first time kind of realizing like, whoa, you know, this is, I mean, you know, it's like a massive thing, you know, it's not like you're expecting these protests are going to save the world and everything's going to be amazing all of a sudden. But when you're really like faced with that reality, I think you definitely like a part of me really changed. And so I wrote this song, and it's, I mean, it starts off with the the Bloodshot eyes and 9 to 5. And I liked 9 to 5 because you can think of it as like, working all day and tired and stressed and hating society because like, look at everything it's forcing us to do. But also, in my opinion, because then right after I say up all night, to me, the 9 to 5 is like, literally 9 p.m. to 5 a.m. You're staying up late, trying to like figure out what's going on. The voices in the beginning are kind of like you waking up in the morning, or not waking up because you didn't sleep, but realizing like, oh, the sun
it's
is
morning
rising,
time.
the day is starting.
We're getting to it, and I haven't broken from anything. I'm still in this trance of whatever.
Yeah, exactly. So that's basically where it all came from. But I mean, the song does kind of go all over the place. It touches on that. It touches on also like me reflecting with myself, just with the sense of like, can I be doing more? Am I making excuses? Am I doing this? There was just like a lot of grappling with like, my place in society, and if we want a better place, how do we get there? And yeah, it was intense.
There's a lot of thought put into it.
That's
for sure. And I mean, that's great when you can actually take something and that you're thinking about and translate it into music. It's one of the best feelings. I should know. But
I should know. My new song, Perfect World, is on all the charts. See me on the Key Review.
That's like my least internal, like that's anyway.
I'm just kidding.
The cover art for it, I think, is a different direction for you too. Like I think you pulled out some of the sex, but you also pulled out like grit and like the grit underneath the house you're about to buy. And also there's blood, but there's like it definitely makes you stop and take notice. So what was your kind of thinking behind all of that?
Well, the main thinking was, I ain't got no budget, so what are we gonna do?
Everyone has no budget in this community, so
not everyone.
No, that's not true.
Well, some people, they make a budget.
You can do it.
I like to save money. Yeah,
exactly.
I like to save money where I can. But the video.
A man with horn-rimmed glasses.
The video finished converting, so it like opened itself. I don't know. That was weird. But yeah. So I mean, I kind of saw it as, I just wanted it to feel. First of all, I don't really take pictures of myself, like in general, and definitely not for music. So I was like, okay, even though it's kind of basic, like I want to do something like just kind of straightforward, industrial city life type of thing. A little fake blood,
Was this shot on top of your apartment building?
Yeah, it was shot on the roof. And then I was like, oh, what would make this even better would be like adding in another person's arm, like disembodied arms, to kind of like be the societal, not just pressure, but like literal violence that is happening to so many people in the world. So I kind of saw it as like, okay, me in my like disco ball earrings and like a cute little shirt and all of that. And then just kind of, you're getting blindsided by the realities of life in there. And hi Kevin. Getting blindsided by the realities of life, but and then kind of this juxtaposition, I posted on Instagram about this in one of my last posts, the juxtaposition of like the look kind of either being like, just kind of like giving into it and just being like, peace, just kill me, just go for it. Or
it might be easier to just be dead
and just be done with it.
I mean, you know what, that was something going through the minds of so many people during that time. Like, God, like just it's inescapable. And
because everything felt pointless. And I mean, again, it wasn't just that's not centered even as much probably on protests, more the isolation of just like,
we don't know where anything is going, and it seems like we're surrounded in sadness. The other thing too is that I don't even know that we've escaped that. Yet.
I've been very grateful that I got to like go home to California, because I really feel like that saved me.
For sure.
Like I feel human again and functional again, and like I can contribute to the world again, and that I don't want to like explode every second.
It's a testament to how important it is to actually be around people and like people that you care about, because if you isolate for too long, you can absolutely just go mad and lose perspective.
That's even with me living with people,
totally.
with my boyfriend, but I live with one of my best friends.
But sometimes even living with people, you can still feel alone, if that
Yeah.
makes any
Yeah.
sense. So we
Just feel
talked a
cut off
little
from
bit.
the world.
Exactly. We talked a little bit about the lyrics. I do have a question about one of the lyrics
Oh,
that kind of
let's see if I
stood
remember.
out to me. I am wondering what you meant by faded
I knew
approximations,
it.
forcible purgation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So faded up, because that's like right before where I say erase forevermore the lives I lived before. I can't revive that soul. Basically saying like I'll never be the same person, but also like all these beautiful memories I have with people, they will never come back. I'll never, like just thinking of those amazing times in like college and high school, especially where you're like with all your friends, you're hanging out with their families, you're going to each other's houses, you're like doing all those things.
Yeah.
And just really, really soaking in like that's never going to happen again. Like never in the
Mhm.
same way. Like
No.
friends, they all live in different places now, like different states. Like you can barely see one friend, let alone see everyone together. So it's
Yeah.
kind of that. And the faded approximations is like, just that is tying into like trying to get an approximation of those times back and those memories, these
Got it.
faded things where you're like, I wish I like it's not even close enough, but it's the only thing you can get.
I think
Um,
this is a very common feeling for people your age too.
yeah.
Maybe sometimes it happens a little earlier even, but yeah, like
Oh
you
yeah.
realize that,
I
you
mean,
know,
it definitely had been happening more, but I think the isolation was really
yeah,
like I've never been the type of person to be anxious about, like I've seen people talk about, being anxious about if they don't talk to someone for a while, they're like, I wonder if that person even likes me. Do any of my friends like me? Are they
yeah.
secretly talking? And I had never like had those anxieties before until the pandemic. I was
Oh,
like, do any of
really?
my friends? Yeah, because
Oh,
you just
interesting.
will try to get in touch with someone, or maybe you'll be really excited to have a conversation and they just keep like delaying it, or like, I mean, maybe they genuinely just
Gotcha.
don't have time, or they're stressed too.
Yeah,
Like it's understandable, but I couldn't help but internalize a lot of that. And the
of
forcible
course.
purgation was kind of like, purgation is, I don't know if it necessarily fits in this context. I meant it kind of like a purging, which
Mhm.
purgation is kind of like it is kind of like that, but I meant it more like, I'm being forced to not be able to have those connections anymore by like society,
Gotcha.
because we all
That
have to
makes
do our
sense.
own things and
Yeah,
figure
yeah,
out.
yeah.
Yeah, it's like a
Um,
forced purging of our
Yeah, I think
lives.
the unfortunate truth, pandemic or not, is that as we get older, our friend circles get smaller and smaller,
Yeah,
just because people get wrapped up in their own lives. People have children. People move
yeah,
away. Like people get wrapped up in their own agendas. So it
but
sucks.
it's
But
true. But I do feel really
but
grateful because, we've connected with so many people. We met each other
yep,
during this time. Now we've got to meet
exactly.
and stuff. And there's so many other people like that where I feel like I'm starting to see more of the things I do have versus the things I don't anymore,
Which is a great perspective to
which I,
have.
and I
Which is,
couldn't
you
do that
couldn't think
before.
that way before.
Yeah.
Exactly. So it's good to be able to flip that and actually
Yeah.
glass half full, if you will.
Exactly.
Um,
Exactly.
I'm trying to think of, oh, why this song? I can edit this. Why this song feels better than. So when I was listening to the song, I thought that you definitely had stepped up the production,
Uh-huh.
and
Thank you.
I think that there was some great experimentation going on too. I love that you used the Armenian instrument. What's that called?
Yeah, the duduk,
The
D-U-D-U-K.
doodoo. Yeah.
The
I thought that
duduk.
was really
What that
cool to
duduk
be
do?
able to bring something from your heritage. I've always
Yeah.
wanted to put something from my heritage, but how do you put cheese whiz in a song?
Bagpipes.
Um, but yeah, no, I'm at loss for words because I just think it is truly your best work yet. And I think it's a great transitional song for you because it's
Yeah.
moving into you're stepping it up a little bit more and you're
Yeah.
taking it to the next level.
Yeah, I mean, like I obviously all I had been releasing for a while was like heartbreak stuff, which I
Mhm.
mean, that's what I was feeling so much.
You have to go
But
with
it's
that.
not really what I wanted to make necessarily. Sometimes you're just like, I need to get this out and it's good music, so let me release it. And
Yep.
I'm obviously happy with it. Like I love those songs, but I'm just not that as much the type of person to like care about that in my music. I'd rather talk about like bigger things, or I really like poems, and like that's
Mhm.
why this song, I mean, maybe sometimes it has too many words or it feels like it's trying too hard, which is okay, but I just really like those types of songs. So yeah, I mean, I feel like I'm more honing in on like how I want to like marry the pop sound with the and R&B, but also like the more like poetic kind of like,
Yeah, the one
symbolic
thing that's
stuff.
great about this too is it's open to interpretation for everyone to
Yeah.
sort of take it. It doesn't need to be placed in the space that you are writing
Mm-hmm.
from. Someone could take this song and put it into a scenario or situation in their own life and relate to it in that way, because
Mm-hmm.
it's open-ended enough that you can sort of like apply it where, or even sometimes there might be different like sentences that hit someone and
Right.
that's what they take away from it,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. I mean, if you listen, like look at the lyrics, honestly, a lot of them are pretty simple, but like I don't think you necessarily would pick up on all the things I'm saying.
No, and
Probably more just like the
that's
dread and wanting to die part.
that's part of the joy of doing that type of music too, is that you can say something and know what it means and not have like and not worry about what other people think of it.
Right.
Like, you can, because it's just a
Mm-hmm.
release to get it out.
I think the funny thing about this song too was that when I wrote it, I literally was like, some of this stuff, I know it's a little like out there. So I was like writing down notes of like what it meant to me so that I
Right.
remembered like how it, like what I was writing about.
Yeah.
And then I think at some point I deleted those notes. And now honestly, there's some parts of the song I'm like, I don't know what Kisos was saying there, but it still sounds good.
It's interesting. Whenever I write lyrics, generally what I'll do is I'll do a first pass and write the song.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'll go in and each line, I'll write a note beside the line of what I'm trying to say in more description.
Mm.
And then work out if the lyric line
That's really
is
smart.
exactly, well, I learned that from Gavin, because that's what Gavin does. The first time I ever wrote with Gavin, I know this is supposed to be about you, but guess what?
No, that's fine. Well, so people know, Gavin Bradley is the person who mixed and mastered the track.
Yeah.
And I also co-produced it with GESS, who I love.
Yes. So Gavin took me in the first song I ever wrote, and he pulled up the lyrics for 7 different sides, which was my first song.
Mm-hmm.
And you won't believe, I don't know how he had the patience to deal with me, because like imagine me sitting there while he's trying to like go line by line in detail. And I'm just like, oh my God, we don't need to do this right now. Let's just record the song. But there is a lot of value.
But then you open for Boy George.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
On period. But yeah, no, I think that's a really good practice to have when you're writing lyrics, is to sort of write what it is that you're understanding. It's a shame you lost the notes.
Yeah, I think I deleted them because I was like, I'll remember, and I didn't remember. Because yeah, Peter was like, I would love to like see this lyric sheet and see more of like what you meant by all this, and I'm like, me too, girl. I have.
I don't know.
It's lost in the wind.
Oh well, it's still amazing. Is there anything you want to share about this song, or anything that maybe I've missed that you want to say?
No, I will mention that I was really excited to work with GESS on this. He was one of the very first queer artists that I ever like found. Like I think I was just, I work in PR. So I think I was doing PR for other artists, stumbled across his song without even knowing he was a queer artist. Spilled Milk, shout out Spilled Milk. And I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. And I think I just like followed him and started listening from there. And this was probably like 2015. Like I didn't have music for another year.
Right.
I mean, maybe it was later. I don't remember. But yeah. And then, just getting to become friends with him. And then once he released Imposter with Boy Untitled, I was like, okay, wait, this is like kind of exactly the feel that I'm feeling for my song. So I sent GESS the demo of like what I was feeling. I was like, I just want to like kick this up a notch, and gave him some tonal and moods and themes, and basically the feeling of this song that I wanted to have was kind of like the killer in a horror movie, who like no matter how far you're running from this demon, it's always right behind you and you can't get a breath at any point. So that's why it's kind of like quiet in the verses, and you're like, you're like, oh my God, do we do it? Do we do it?
Yeah.
And meanwhile, the kids are just laughing outside because they are getting to enjoy their childhood. And they don't know how terrible the world is yet. But yeah, so it was really cool working with GESS. Yeah, because like I said, it kind of felt like a full circle moment of someone I've wanted to collaborate with for a long time. So that was cute. But that's pretty much it. I feel like we talked about the rest. If anyone has other questions, let me know and I'll do it.
Hit up the DMs.
Wait.
We're going to play the full song now.
Woo.
So enjoy, ladies
Great.
and gentlemen.
Go stream it.
Streamy.
And put it on your playlist and save it. And thank
Streamy
you.
preemie. Okay.
Exactly. We can just end it there, right?
Beauty. Yeah, I did.
Okay, great. Amazing. Thank you.
Yeah, no.